So today, this video is about why I love professional wrestling and the medium in general of pro wrestling and its appeal to fans from kids to adults alike. And I say that because when I tell people, yeah, I love pro wrestling, they immediately say, well, isn't that for kids? Or isn't that fake? And we're going to address that in this video. So usually when people talk to me about the fakeness of pro wrestling and how I shouldn't be into it because it is already predetermined, I like to compare it to a live kung fu action movie. So if you like action movies, I'm a kung fu fan. I'm going to go ahead and continue the metaphor with the movie Legend of Drunken Master with Jackie Chan. All right, so you watch Jackie Chan in any of his movies, you know for a fact that Jackie Chan is an actor portraying some type of character in a movie. And one of the things that I love about Jackie Chan is his mastery of martial arts and the ability to apply those martial arts skills in creative ways to tell a story. If you go down the rabbit hole of YouTube searching and literally just look at Jackie Chan fight scenes, the guy uses ladders, chairs, other equipment. It's just ridiculous. I think he beat somebody with a mop in one of his movies. But he does it in a funny and creative and a shocking way that I can really appreciate the time and effort that he takes to make these scenes look so good. So going back to Jackie Chan as an actor versus a character in a movie. If I'm watching a movie, I know that the movie has a whole bunch of actors being directed by a director, being pushed in front of us by producers and studios to entertain us. Now take that attitude and apply it to professional wrestling, where it is live and the fans can let the wrestlers know if their disbelief is suspended. And that goes on to my next point, which is the suspension of disbelief. We all go into movies, TV shows, theater with an inherent suspension of disbelief, meaning that we know that we are going to see this show or this movie or this play or this performance in front of us. We know that. Rationally and logically, we are going to be hyper aware of us sitting in that chair or being in our home, flipping through Netflix, saying, hey, I want to watch a movie. Hey, I want to watch a TV show. Selecting it, and then understanding that these actors and performers are going to try to engage us in telling a story. And I think a lot of people have trouble verbalizing whether a movie or a TV show or a play is good to them or is intriguing to them or enjoyable to them because of that term, suspension of disbelief. So if somebody's telling me a story and they don't have me, engaged, I'm not really following the story, I am not rooting for characters, my suspension of disbelief is nowhere to be found. I can't get out of my own head by letting the story play itself in front of me, because I am too focused on the strings of a puppet show rather than the actual puppet show itself and the story it's trying to tell. So when people say, oh, well, how can you follow wrestling? It's predetermined, or it's fake, or the outcomes are already known. Well, yeah, so are scripts and stories. I mean, there's people that are still going to Shakespeare plays. If you don't know how a Shakespeare play ends, spoiler alert, it's been around for years. We're talking centuries. Yet, you can still draw a crowd because it is in the performances of those actors and characters that really determine how good a show is portrayed and how good a story is told. So again, I say, when people tell me, oh, well, this is just for kids. You're an adult. Why do you enjoy a product devoted towards kids? I'm 31 years old right now as I shoot this video. As you get older in life, and I've noticed this for myself, there's a lot of wistful hearkening back to a simpler time where you didn't have all these stressors and deadlines and people on your back and pressures that adulthood brings that you couldn't even fathom as a 10-year-old kid. When you're 10 years old, you want to go outside, hang out with your friends, eat pizza, play video games, and the biggest worry is making sure that you take care of your homework and do your chores so that your mom or your dad doesn't discipline you. When I watch professional wrestling, if a show is good, it takes me back to that 10-year-old self and that slight feeling of youth and childlike idealism and just enjoyment in simpler times. That is that suspension of disbelief. And that is what gets me to freak out when somebody wins a championship match or gets me to boo and yell at a bad guy for cheating. Stories are really simple. And I think when people get really intellectual about storytelling, that they get lost in the trees and forget about the forest. So how do you tell a story in professional wrestling? And what is the story that they're trying to tell? This is the most fascinating aspect of professional wrestling, that if you're not a follower or a fan, you might not realize. Wrestling is framed in the sense that we are watching a competition, and the ultimate prize is to be the best fighter in that promotion, usually through recognition via a championship title. So you see those big leather-strapped belts over people's shoulders, around their waist, to signify that they are the best in the company. With that being said, there are small, we'll call them mini storylines, on the way for every character to go through until they reach that championship match, or that top of the mountain apex of their career or of their climb. And in my next video, we will talk about the fascinating parts of how we are able to play competition to make it engaging, and something that I will refer to as the meta-narrative of pro wrestling, and what makes it so different than other forms of media.
Big thank you to my Patreon supporters: Adrian, Astrofox Salas, Laura, Sugar Mama Stevens. If you want a shout out, go to my Patreon site, patreon.com/BoProWrestling, link below in the description. Also, musical credit to Mark, Metal, Millie, Merrill. Also, my coaches, Juan J2 Mattioli, Michael Hops Hopkins, and the head honcho, the New Age Punisher, B-Boy of Level Up Pro Wrestling. Shout out to my school. Watch them work in Ground Zero Reloaded on independentwrestling.tv. Finally, I want to give a thank you to Drunken Master Jackie Chan. Was he really drunk in that movie?